In this video, I'm going to show you all the updates that just came out with CrewAI, and I'm going to go over some of the code for them so you can see how they actually work. Let's go ahead and begin. We have this new before kickoff and after kickoff crew callbacks. You have support to precede agents with knowledge, that's a capital K, and we add support for retrieving user preferences and memories using mem0. Now, I covered mem0 in a previous video a few months ago with AutoGen and kind of an example of how to use it. I'm going to go over another code example with CrewAI using chat. They fixed some async execution. We have some upgrades. The update on the CLI Watson supported models, that makes sense because, not long ago they partnered with IBM. They reduced level for Bandit, fixed some tests and updated documentation. Okay, great. Now let's go back to the first one. I want to go over this a little bit. So the new before kickoff and after kickoff crew callbacks. Well, what is that? Well, the first thing is you need to update CrewAI. And then once you do that on the newest version, when you go to use the command line, which I have shown in my courses, is that you type CrewAI, create crew, and then the name of the crew, you're going to be seeing these two other annotations or these two decorators inside of your crew base before kickoff and after kickoff. And they're going to give you an example of where you can print something and it returns inputs, right? Well, what does this do? And what this says is this is an optional hook to be executed before the crew starts. That's what this before kickoff means. So if we come back to the main Python file where we always kick off the crew. So I have this school crew.crew.kickoff, and we always give it some sort of input. Whenever this gets kicked off, before it goes into the actual crew, it's going to execute whatever is inside of this before kickoff first. And then in the after kickoff, after the crew is done and it gets the output, after all of the agents and the tasks are completed, then it's going to call this log results function, print out the output, and and return it as well. Okay, so I just ran this like normal, and as you can see here, we have this printout, and this is the inputs, right? So I said print out the inputs of whatever is being given into this pull data example Python function with the at before kickoff decorator. Now, what's happening is anytime you call this function, we're always getting the inputs from whenever we kick off the crew. So when you say kickoff inputs equals inputs, I'm getting this topic Microsoft stock price, and that's what's going to be given here. And all I'm doing is just printing that out and then just returning it, right? So whenever you return this, whatever is returned here is then going to be sent into the crew to do everything that the agents and the task are going to be doing. Now remember, it still has to be a dictionary. It still has to be in the same form like you see right here, topic, and then whatever the value of that is, because topic is the parameter they're using in the task and the agents in the configuration file. Well, you might be asking, what is the point of this? Like, why would I need to do this if I already have the input data when I'm running my crew? Okay, well, that's a fair point, but there's a couple things here. Well, what if we have an N8N flow, but then at some point we call a backend server that has a whole crew of maybe 8 to 10 agents, they need to do something. Well, you could manipulate the data possibly to send it to the crew, and then the crew can form it into a dictionary, which I'm going to show you as an example in just a minute. Or as you can see, they have here, whatever you get from N8N, you can just send that here, then we can actually pull data here. You can have another API call here or whatever you need to do to change the inputs to actually then send off to the crew. And actually in my school community, besides the CrewAI master course where I update sections of this every week, there's also this no code introduction where you do get a free gift where I show you how to use N8N and CrewAI together as a full flow, right? This is before we actually kick off the crew. So you can manipulate the data that's coming in here however you want before the crew actually starts. And the same thing with after the kickoff, right? If you're going to send data back to the N8N flow, you can manipulate it here because in my opinion, it's much easier to do that with code. You can do that here with all the libraries that you need, send it back to N8N, and then you can continue your workflow if you want. But either way, this is a way to, no matter what we're getting data, whether it's from the front end, we can make sure the data is manipulated correctly, massage it so that it's into a dictionary or a list of dictionary that the crew needs. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what I mean is this. If I comment this out and then in the run function here, I'm passing in Microsoft stock price. That's coming in here as a from request parameter. I'm giving that to the school crew, and we got an error. It must be a mapping, not a string. So how we can fix that, we don't actually have to fix that here, right? we can just go back to our crew and we're still printing out the input is just Microsoft stock price, the value, right? There's no dictionary. So instead I could say return, and then I could say topic, and then I want to pass the inputs, whatever. I know it's just going to be a single string, right? But you could even do something like you could comma separate out the strings. However that's coming in, we could manipulate that here. But this is, I want to show you a simple manipulation. So the inputs is going to be coming in as this Microsoft stock price, but I'm going to be manipulating it or modifying it into this dictionary to then be sent off into the crew, and then this will work. So let's go and clear this. And as you can see, Microsoft stock price, senior data researcher, and now it's running because we manipulate the data to properly send to the crew. This is a great feature, and this is a perfect example of how to use that. So the next one was knowledge, right? So you might be asking, well, if I'm just giving knowledge to an agent, which is what we're doing here, this is what they added. You can give knowledge to an agent. So if you had 10 agents, you can give different knowledge sources to all these agents. And then just for that task that they're going to perform, or multiple tasks, then they'll have more of what to know and how to solve it, right? But you might be thinking, well, we already do that with context, right? For each agent, you already give a backstory, you already give a goal and all that stuff, right? So the agent kind of knows what to do. Well, the problem is, that's text, right? You can add text as context, and that's as part of the context window. What knowledge is, whenever you kind of dig a little deeper, is actually using a chroma database to then store the vectors so that whenever you give it the knowledge, then it's going to retrieve certain parts of the knowledge for whatever you may need to solve. And it's not just text. You can add PDFs, spreadsheets, and other types of sources just to this agent. And I really think this is a great resource to make your agents more powerful and execute better. So let's just go over this really quick. So knowledge in CrewAI serves as the component for enriching AI agents, which I kind of just talked about. It enables agents to access and utilize structured data sources during their execution processes, making them more intelligent and responsive. And like it's saying here, additionally, we have specific tools for generating knowledge sources for strings, text files, PDFs, and spreadsheets. They actually have a class here that you can expand upon as well. In here, I have one called sample knowledge.py, right? So in this content here, I just have this content string. My name is Tyler, I'm 36, live in Florida. I also rarely know what I'm doing, and I drink lots of coffee. So I had the string source, right? I had the string knowledge source. So the content is that, and then I just you can get the metadata to kind of, you can give it like more access to certain preferences, right? So this one's gonna be personal just to me, not like about anything else. This is just personal to me. Then I just create an agent, a task, and a crew. But in the crew here, this knowledge, the sources are the string source and the metadata, and the preference is personal. Okay, so the question is, where does Tyler live and what does he do? So then that agent is going to have to go to that knowledge source and then retrieve and then answer the question that way. So the final answer is Tyler lives in Florida, although he mentions that he rarely knows what he's doing, a characteristic that highlights a sense of spontaneity and blah, blah, blah. He also drinks lots of coffee, which could indicate a busy lifestyle or preference for caffeine, probably the second one. But then what we can do is you can modify this to like whatever it is, right? It could be a huge file. In the back end, it's using Chroma database as a knowledge source. So then it's going to retrieve specifically what it needs a little bit more effectively than just giving it this big context window, right? And then you don't have to worry about expanding your YAML file properties for the configuration. And then in the last coding example, they talked about integrating mem0, which again, I have talked about before in a previous video, and I really, really like this. Even if I go to my request here, this is the mem0 dashboard, right? Even, you have I have the free plan, right? So you get like 1,000 monthly API calls. I've used a lot recently, right? I'm going to do some testing with the user ID that I'm about to show you. Okay, so what is mem0? It's basically a memory database, and it has this web UI where you can see the actual memory stored for the user, and I'll show you that. It's free to sign up. You just come in here, you'll go to the API keys, get an API key, and you're basically ready to go. So let's look at a code example. So if I go into my CrewAI mem0 py file, Let's go ahead and clear this. Let me minimize this a little bit more so we can see. I'm basically creating a chatbot within CrewAI, just using a while true loop, but I'm going to show you how this works, right? And this key will be deleted by the time you see this. But what we need to do is you need to import mem0, and they start out with this memory client class. So you initiate this, give it the API key, and then again, I just have, this is really similar to the previous example. So I just have an agent, a task, and a crew. Although with the task, I have a search mem0 tool, which I will get to in just a second. And then at the bottom, I have a while true, right? So this is just going to constantly chat. I basically give a question, and then it's going to kick off the crew with that question, and it's going to print the result. And then what I do is in the mem0 client, I'm going to add that question. It's not necessarily a question. It probably should be like my input. So I'm going to add that input to a specific user ID called Tyler. And just so you know, I ran into this error. This is not going to work if you don't do this. There are two versions, 1.0, 1.1. You need to make sure it's set to version 1.1, or again, you will run into errors. It needs to be 1.1, at least used with CrewAI. Okay, so use 1.1, and so it's going to add this as a memory, but it's not going to just add the whole thing as a memory. It's going to kind of format it, say, hey, Tyler likes pizza. I can have this long thing about pizza, right? And toppings. It'll say Tyler likes pizza, Tyler likes pineapple, Tyler likes pepperoni, Tyler hates anchovies, whatever that may be. So it's going to add that as a memory. And then what I did for the search mem0 tool is I just created a simple tool for this example that, again, you have to use your API key to connect to mem0. And then all this does, this, if you haven't not really familiar with this, all I'm doing, this is the only line that actually matters, is I'm saying in mem0, search a query. So it's going to search in mem0 for all the memories I have of this user, which is me, and it's going to return any results that are maybe based on whatever I'm kind of asking, right? And then the task is going to use those to help answer the question. Okay, let's go ahead and just run this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I have some allergies, and then I'm going to ask it to give me some recommendations of food, and it should, and I'll show you the memories, it'll give me preferences of what I like to eat based on, having these allergies. So I had actually already, when I tested this, have a nut allergy. So let's say I have an allergy to fish, just fish in general, but I love pizza and wings. Okay, so what it's going to do is going to use the search tool, and it's basically, okay, so it already retrieved some memories, right? So it kind of like going in there, and I already had a nut allergy, right? So this is a memory that I already had. So what it should have done, let's go and see if it actually did it. So I just ran this. It says, I love wings, I love pizza, but I also have an allergy to fish. So it created, look, the user, I have an allergy to fish, but I love wings and pizza. That was the statement that I just gave it. But, it separated out to love wings, loves pizza, has an allergy to fish, and it kind of gave like tags to what this is probably related to, right? So an allergy to fish, that is health related. So it gave that tag. Now, if I go back and I'm going to say, can you give me recommendations for food I can eat tonight? Okay, now this is the actual question. So what it's going to do is it's going to retrieve all the memories, and it says, based on your preferences, I recommend enjoying a delicious pizza or some flavorful wings. Just be sure to avoid any dishes with fish due to your allergy. Enjoy your meal. Great. And then, I guess there's typically nothing related to nuts with pizza. So I basically asked it like what granola bars that I can eat, and I was looking for the nut allergy thing, but I forgot that this is a different user ID and I don't have anything about nut allergies. So let's actually add, I also have a nut allergy. Okay, so I'm just going to tell it that I have a nut allergy, right? So it only retrieved, it didn't retrieve every memory, right? This is a great thing about mem0. It didn't retrieve every memory. It says the memories it retrieved was I have an allergy to fish, which is health related, and I want to eat granola bars, which a lot of granola bars have nuts in them. So now if I go back to my memory and I just refresh this, there should be hopefully a seventh memory here. And it says I have a nut allergy. This is related to health. So whenever I go to ask it a question and it goes to search in all my memories here, it's not going to return everything because it doesn't need to, right? That's really efficient. So now, what can I eat? What can I eat for a snack based on my health preferences? So it's going to come in here It went ahead and, executed the tool again. I like to eat granola bars, love pizza, I have nut allergy to fish, but I love wings. Looking for food recommendations tonight. That's my thing. So the result was, based on my health preferences, you can eat granola bars as a snack, ensuring they are nut-free due to your nut allergy. Look for granola bars that are specifically free from nuts or made in a nut-free facility to ensure safety. Okay, so that's wonderful because I was able to come in here. Let me refresh this again, see if there are any other memories. So there weren't any other memories, which is great because that was a question. I asked it, what do I want to do? What should I do tonight based on what memories I already have? And it knew it didn't need to add another memory, right? Because I just asked it a question. It wasn't like a statement for, this is like what I want to do. So it had a nut allergy. I have an allergy to fish, but, again, my question was, what can I eat for a snack based on my health preferences? So it didn't say anything about fish because, you don't really typically associate fish with snacks, but it knew nuts were associated to snacks. And I also liked granola bars. So based on my memories, and you can prompt this also, right? You can prompt this agent to say, not just take memories, but also like go and, based on what you think, what are other snacks plus my memories, right? And then give me the results. But I wanted to show you how MemZero works. And this is wonderful for a simple chatbot. And MemZero is absolutely amazing. And again, it's free, and I'm really happy they integrated in with CrewAI. Anything related to AI agents and automation, I'm here to help you, and I have steps to help you along the way. This is just one of the paths that you're going to learn how to make your own AI agents, and I'm always here to help you. And we always have live sessions and coffee hours every week. Well, these are my updates for CrewAI. I'll have the code in my GitHub. I'll link in the description. And if you haven't seen my CrewAI master course, I just released that, so watch that here, and also how to build anything here.